My name's Jake Foster. I'm 39, own a custom woodworking business just outside San Antonio, and up until recently, I thought I'd married the love of my life. Diane, natural blonde, blue eyes, freckled skin as she walked straight out of a Pinterest board. We met in college, and even back then she turned heads. One of those girls who always got her way with a pout and a smile. Yeah, she cheated on me once in college, but we were kids. Stupid, reckless. I forgave her. I believed she'd changed. Spoiler, she hadn't. This year started with a storm brewing, subtle, quiet, and all too familiar. Diane's moods shifted. She got cold. Distant. That patented fake smile she used when she was hiding something? Yeah, it was back. Our intimacy died. She blamed stress. Hormones. Work. But my gut knew. You don't spend years with someone and not learn the weather patterns of their soul. I started with the basics, no accusations. Just data. I turned on the Find My Phone app on her iPhone one afternoon while she was in the shower. She never noticed. Didn't even ask when she had to re-enter her password. That alone told me everything. 2 days later, I was sitting at my office desk when I noticed her phone's location, home. On a Wednesday afternoon. That might not seem weird to most, but Diane's a real estate agent. Weekdays are her battlefield. And our house? That's not on her sales route. I told my boss I needed a long lunch and bolted. My stomach was in knots as I pulled into the driveway and saw her car. Alone. No client cars. No for sale signs out front. Just silence. Still, part of me clung to hope. Maybe she forgot something. Maybe she came home for paperwork. Maybe this was the paranoid ghost of old wounds whispering lies in my ear. I unlocked the front door. Stepped inside. The house smelled like candle wax and perfume. The kind she only lit when she was trying to set a mood. Upstairs, I heard them. Voices. Laughter. One voice I recognized immediately, Diane. The other two? Male. Deep. Familiar. I crept up the stairs like a ghost in my own house. Stopped just outside our bedroom door. My heart pounded so loud I thought it would give me away. I slipped my phone past the cracked doorway and hit record. What I saw on that screen changed everything. There she was. My wife. Naked. Tangled in sheets I paid for. Between two men. Not strangers. Our married neighbors. John and Kevin. The three of them twisted in a scene that looked like it came straight out of a dirty tabloid. The bed was covered in some rubber sheet I'd never seen before. Not a spontaneous affair. Not a one-time mistake. This was planned. Coordinated. Practiced. And the worst part? I had tried to be adventurous with her once. Just once. Tried to spice things up, explore something new. She cut me off for a month. Told me I was disrespectful and that she was not that kind of girl. Except she was just not with me. I walked away from the door without making a sound. Sat at the kitchen table and poured myself a drink with hands that shook with rage. Everything I thought I knew? Gone. I said it out loud just to hear it. I don't want her anymore. But it wasn't enough. Not after what I saw. Not after what she did. I needed her to feel it, the betrayal, the humiliation, the shame. I wasn't going to scream. I wasn't going to cry. I was going to plan. I went to the fridge, pulled out every bottle of wine we owned except one, and tucked them away. Grabbed 2 sleeping pills from her purse, ground them up, and stirred them into the one bottle I left chilled. Then I sat back down with my laptop, pulled up our financial accounts, split them, removed her from my medical and life insurance, downloaded the divorce papers, state forms, DIY kits, the whole works. From upstairs, I heard the shower running. A long, leisurely rinse. They weren't ashamed. Not even close. I wasn't going to confront her in some teary-eyed scene. No. I'd already decided. I was going to destroy her. I didn't sleep that night. Not a wink. I sat in the dark with my laptop open, watching the footage over and over again, making sure I captured every disgusting detail. Diane. Kevin. John. Laughing. Grunting. Moaning like something out of a cheap adult film, only it was filmed in my home. My bedroom. On sheets I picked out for our anniversary. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw them. So I stopped closing my eyes. Instead, I mapped it out. Every move. Every consequence. I didn't just want to walk away, I wanted to make sure Diane never forgot what she did. I wanted her to wake up every morning with the same pit in her stomach I had right then. I wanted her to feel hunted. And it started with the wine. When I heard the front door close around 1 a.m., I knew the circus was over. Diane padded into the kitchen in one of my t-shirts, hair wet, humming. Humming. I just watched her get railed by 2 married men and she was humming like she just came back from a yoga retreat. Hey, baby, she said, casual as I usually did, grabbing a wine glass. I didn't even look up. Rough day? She sighed dramatically. Just client drama. You know how it is. She opened the fridge and reached for the bottle I'd left in the door. The only one. I watched her pour. Sip. Smile. You want some? She offered. No, thanks, I said, and for the first time, I realized how steady my voice had become. Cold. Surgical. Within 30 minutes, she was slurring. I'm gonna crash, she mumbled, wobbling toward the stairs. Sure thing, sweetheart. As soon as I heard her snoring, I got to work. I copied the video footage from my phone to 3 different USB drives. One I slipped into a safety deposit box under my name. Another I mailed to a private investigator I'd hired that night, an old army buddy who specialized in exposure work. The third stayed on me. By morning I had the beginnings of a masterpiece. Step 1. Take away her comfort. I canceled all her joint credit cards. Shut down her access to our shared accounts. Froze her out of the Netflix, the Spotify, the Amazon Prime, every little luxury she'd gotten used to under my name. Then I called the bank and filed a temporary hold on the mortgage payment. My name was the only one on the deed. If anyone was getting booted, it was her. Step 2. Exposure. That afternoon I went to visit Kevin's wife, Maria. Maria was everything Diane wasn't. Warm. Honest. A little reserved. We'd spoken at cookouts, church events, and casual neighborhood stuff, but never more than small talk. When I showed up at her door with a manila envelope in hand, she looked confused. Invited me in. I handed her the USB. Said nothing. She plugged it into her laptop. Her face went pale. She watched the whole thing. Didn't cry. Didn't scream. She just nodded, then turned and said, "I want everything. Custody. The house. The car. All of it." I nodded back. "You'll get it. And I'll help." Next stop? John's wife, Denise. She wasn't as calm. She sobbed. Screamed into a dish towel. Threw a glass at the wall. Then she hugged me and said, "Thank you. Thank you for not letting me keep living in a lie." Step 3. Documentation. My PI sent me back a full dossier within 48 hours. Diane had been cheating with Kevin and John for months. They weren't the only ones either. She had a burner phone. A second email address. Chat logs. Hotel receipts. She'd used a fake name to book rooms. I had everything. I forwarded it all to my divorce attorney, along with my own surveillance footage. He called me the next day. "Jake," he said, voice low, impressed. "You've just built the cleanest slam dunk case I've seen in years." I asked him what we could get. "Everything," he said. "Full property retention, alimony denial, character destruction. The judge might even send you a thank you card." I smiled for the first time in days. Step 4. Confrontation. I waited until Friday. I made dinner. Steak, asparagus, red wine, classic date night setup. Diane walked in confused. "Wow, what's all this?" she asked. I kissed her cheek. "Just missed you, babe." She actually blushed. Sat down. Ate. Halfway through her wine, I slid the envelope across the table. "What's this?" she asked. "Open it." She did. Photos. Screenshots. Printouts of messages. The full PI report. Her face turned to stone. "You went through my stuff?" she said like I was the villain. "No," I replied. "I went through the trash. Because that's where I found out what kind of person you are." She stood up. "I can explain." I cut her off. "Don't. You don't get to lie to me again." She opened her mouth. "I'm filing for divorce. Tomorrow. You'll be served. I've already spoken to your lovers' wives. You'll be lucky if you're allowed to crash on Kevin's couch by Monday." She sat down, shaking. "You can't do this," she whispered. "I already did." I stood up, grabbed my jacket, and walked out the front door. And as I closed it behind me, I heard her cry. Not from heartbreak. From panic. The next morning, Diane was gone. Not gone, just out of the house. Probably trying to find someone, anyone who'd still take her sob story seriously. I sipped my coffee in silence, staring out the kitchen window while the sun cut through the blinds like a knife. By noon, the storm had arrived. First it was Kevin, pounding on my front door like a toddler throwing a tantrum. I opened it with the deadbolt still latched. "You son of a BH," he barked. "You ruined my life." I laughed. Full, deep from the gut. "No, Kevin. You ruined your life. I just handed everyone the receipts." His face twisted. "Maria kicked me out. She's talking about taking the kids." "Good. They don't deserve to grow up with a lying sack of crap like you as a role model." He growled something I won't repeat here and stormed off. I shut the door with a satisfying click. Next up was John. No theatrics this time. He didn't even knock. Just stood on the sidewalk across the street with his arms crossed, staring like I was some kind of war criminal. I waved. He flipped me off. I smiled wider. Later that evening, Diane finally came home. She looked wrecked. Hair in a frizz, eyes swollen, no makeup. She had the nerve to slam the front door like she owned the place. "You happy?" she snapped. "You destroyed everything. Everything." I stayed seated on the couch, remote in hand, sipping whiskey like it was just another Tuesday. "No," I said calmly. "You destroyed everything. I just put a spotlight on the pile of rubble." She burst into tears, the dramatic kind. Full on sobbing, hands in her hair, collapsing to the floor like some tragic opera character. "No one will even talk to me," she wailed. "Maria won't respond. Denise told me to go away. You turned everyone against me." I stood up, slow and deliberate. "No, Diane. You did that when you let them screw you in our bed." She curled into a ball, sobbing harder. "Get up," I said. You have until the end of the weekend to pack your crap and get out. I'm changing the locks Monday morning. You can't do that. Check the deed. I snapped. House is in my name. Always has been. She scrambled up. Jake, please. Don't do this. We can fix it. There's no we. I cut in. Not anymore. She blinked. Where am I supposed to go? I shrugged. Should have thought about that before you made your lady parts a community project. She opened her mouth to scream, but I was already walking upstairs. I closed the bedroom door, locked it, and slept like a baby. The next day, the neighborhood group chat exploded. Apparently, Maria and Denise had gone full scorched earth. Word was out. Everyone knew. The HOA president posted a passive-aggressive message about respecting marital boundaries and maintaining community integrity. Translation: You're not welcome here, Diane. By Saturday night, I watched from the upstairs window as she loaded her suitcases into the back of her sister's minivan. She didn't look back. Good. I gave her exactly what she gave me. No warning, no mercy, no closure. Only difference? I did it with receipts. Diane was gone. Her closet was empty. Her toothbrush missing. That little basket of lotions and scented garbage she cluttered the bathroom with? Gone too. The silence was loud at first. I walked through the house like it was a museum to a life that got nuked from the inside. Her hairbrush was on the counter, and her coffee mug was in the dishwasher. Little ghost traces of the woman who, for a while, I thought I'd grow old with. Then came the shift. I stopped noticing what was missing and started appreciating what was finally mine again. I tossed the bedsheets, bought a new mattress, a better one, slept every night like a king who reclaimed his throne. I rearranged the living room furniture, donated the ugly as in canvas print she swore brought the room together. No, Diane. It brought nausea. I changed the locks, had the security cameras upgraded, and updated every password I owned. It wasn't just about protecting myself. It was about reclaiming control. My home, my rules, my life. But just when I started breathing again, her sister called me. I let it ring 3 times before answering. Stupidly thought maybe it'd be something normal, like Diane finally admitting defeat, or at least asking to pick up the stuff she forgot without more drama. Wrong. Jake. The voice snapped. She's in the hospital. I sat down. What happened? She took something. Pills. They think it might have been on purpose. There it was. The twist I wasn't prepared for. I drove down that night more out of obligation than fear. Something in me still needed to see it. Needed to confirm she was real and broken and not just some ghost rattling around my memory. When I walked into the hospital room, I barely recognized her. Pale, hollow-eyed, for in her arm, she looked like a balloon someone had slowly deflated. Her sister nodded and stepped out. Leave us alone. Diane didn't look at me at first. You happy now? She whispered. I stood at the foot of her bed. No, but I'm not the one who should be asking that. She turned her head. I lost everything. No, I said. You threw it away. There's a difference. Tears rolled down her cheeks. The real kind, not the dramatic gaslighting ones she used when cornered. This was human, broken. I almost felt something. I didn't think it would spiral like this, she said. I thought I could juggle it. Keep you. Have fun. I didn't think they'd care. I didn't think you'd care this much. That's the problem, Diane. You never think. Not about anyone but yourself. She looked up. Can we just talk? Like actually talk? I shook my head. I came here to make sure you were alive. I got my answer. I miss you, she whispered. Then maybe next time you'll value the people who love you before they become the ones who walk away. I walked out. Back at home, I poured a drink, sat on the deck, listened to the wind. Later that week, I got a letter in the mail from her. Handwritten. No return address. She said she was going away for a while. Some kind of retreat. Therapy. Said she didn't expect forgiveness but hoped I'd find peace. Said she finally understood what she'd become. I didn't write back. Instead, I got an invitation to a cookout from Maria and Denise. I showed up with a 6-pack and a smile. Kevin was gone. Moved in with his brother 3 towns over. No visitation with the kids yet. Denise filed for divorce too. John had been reduced to weekend couch surfing and begging for mediation. Neither man was missed. The party? It was more than a gathering. It was a cleansing. A low-key celebration of what happens when the liars are removed from the equation. We raised a glass. We laughed. We danced. And when Maria pulled me aside at the end of the night and said, "You really saved us, Jake," I didn't correct her. I just nodded. Because maybe I had. By the end of that summer, the house didn't just feel different, it felt mine. I replaced every picture frame. Repainted the guest bedroom. tore out the hydrangeas Diane had planted and replaced them with rosemary and desert sage. It wasn't just a renovation. It was an exorcism. The silence had gone from heavy to holy. No more pretending. No more emotional landmines. Just space. Stillness. Room to rebuild. And somehow the universe rewarded me for surviving. Her name was Claire. We met at a local maker's fair. She ran a handmade jewelry booth 2 stalls down from my woodcraft setup. Witty. Sharp-eyed. Called me out for underpricing a walnut bookshelf I'd spent 2 weekends carving. I liked her immediately. I didn't rush anything. After what I'd been through, I wasn't looking for fireworks. I just wanted something that felt like it wouldn't burn me alive. We started slow. Texts turned into coffee. Coffee into dinners. Dinners into lazy Sunday mornings where neither of us felt the need to fill the silence with anything but breathing. Claire never asked about Diane, not at first. When I finally told her, she listened without judgment. Just nodded, squeezed my hand, and said, "Then it's a damn miracle you're still kind." That line stuck with me. Because I was kind. Still. Somehow. Even after being gutted like a fish, humiliated, betrayed by the woman I once wanted to grow old with, I hadn't become bitter. Just better. And Claire saw that. A few weeks later, I got a call from a blocked number. I let it go to voicemail. It was Diane. Her voice was soft. Timid. "Hey, Jake. I know I said I wouldn't reach out. I meant it. I wanted to say thank you. For not yelling. For not exposing more than you had to. I deserved worse. I'm still at the retreat. I'm trying. Really. I hope you're okay." I didn't call back. Not out of cruelty. But because I meant what I said. Her chapter in my story was over. Still, it lingered. That week, Claire and I were cooking dinner together when she turned and asked, "Do you think she ever really loved you?" It took me a long time to answer. "I think she loved the version of me that fit into her world," I said. "Not the real me. Just the fantasy." Claire nodded. "Then I'm glad you're finally living for you." We ate in silence. It was perfect. Later that night, I got another call. This time from Maria. "Hey," she said, voice rushed. "Diane just showed up at my place." My heart stopped. "What?" "She's on my porch. Crying. Asking to talk to you. Said she needed to say goodbye in person." I felt ice in my chest. "I'll be right there." I pulled up to Maria's within minutes. Diane was sitting on the porch steps, hoodie pulled over her head, eyes red. She stood when she saw me. "Jake?" I held up a hand. "This isn't the place." "Please," she whispered. "Just a minute." I looked at Maria. She nodded and stepped back inside. Diane stared at the ground. "I'm leaving town. For good. Going to live with my aunt in Oregon. Get out of this mess. I couldn't leave without seeing you. One last time." I didn't say anything. "I don't expect anything," she rushed on. "Not forgiveness. Not sympathy. I just wanted to look you in the eyes and say I'm sorry." I watched her. And for the first time I saw not the woman who betrayed me but the wreckage of who she used to be. A shell. A warning. "Goodbye, Diane," I said. She nodded. Turned. Walked down the steps. And didn't look back. After Diane left, it felt like a pressure valve had been released. No more texts. No more calls. No more lurking reminders that at any second the past could try clawing its way back into my present. It was gone. And for the first time since I caught her in our bed with 2 married men, I finally believed it was over. It wasn't freedom in the fireworks and eagles sense. It was quieter than that. Softer. Like being able to breathe without noticing you were choking for years. Claire noticed it too. One morning, as we sat on the porch drinking coffee, she looked over at me and said, "Your eyes aren't as tense anymore." I laughed. "You analyzing my soul again, Doc?" She smirked. "You're easier to read than you think, Carpenter man." I liked that she didn't treat me like I was fragile. She didn't baby me. Didn't walk on eggshells. But she also never once made me feel like a broken project. She just showed up every day honest. Steady. Real. We started spending weekends out of town. Short trips. Places Diane never cared to see because they weren't trendy or Instagram-worthy. Small towns, mountain cabins, riverside trails. Places where no one knew my name and I could remember who I was before all the betrayal. One night, we built a bonfire behind the cabin we rented in Bandera. I brought out my guitar, a beat-up, scarred beauty I hadn't touched in 2 years. Played old folk songs. Claire leaned on my shoulder, humming softly. "You're not who you were when I met you," she said quietly. I paused. "Better or worse?" She looked up at me. "More whole." That word hit me harder than any insult Diane ever threw. Whole. Because that's what it was. I wasn't patching holes anymore. I wasn't just surviving. I was building something again. In wood. In love. In myself. My business was thriving too. I started taking more custom orders, high-end dining tables, full cabinetry overhauls. Clients who found me through word of mouth. Through neighbors who told the story of the guy who burned it all down and came out swinging. Funny how surviving betrayal became my brand. But the past has a funny way of lingering. No matter how many sage sticks you burn. It came in the form of a certified letter. From Diane. I opened it cautiously, Claire watching from across the room. It wasn't a demand. Wasn't a threat. It was a thank you. She'd finished her therapy program, was working at a small bookstore, had no plans to date, said she still carried shame, but that shame had finally turned into clarity. She wanted to let me know she was okay and that she would never try to contact me again. She ended with, "I used to think love was about ownership. Now I know it's about stewardship. You took care of me better than I deserved. I hope someone takes care of you the way you deserve now." Claire took the letter when I handed it to her. Read it silently. Then she looked at me and said, "You can keep it. Or you can let it go." I tossed it into the fireplace. Watch it curl, blacken, and vanish into ash. That night, I slept deeper than I had in years. A week later, I stood in the backyard barefoot in the grass, holding a chisel and mallet, working on a commissioned memorial bench. A tribute to a widow's late husband. Claire brought me lemonade and sat nearby with a book. And I remember thinking, this is what peace looks like. Not loud, not dramatic, just a good woman, a quiet life, and hands busy with creation instead of destruction. A year to the day after I found Diane with Kevin and John, I got a phone call that froze my blood. It was Maria. "Jake, are you sitting down?" The last time someone started a sentence like that, it ended with an affair and divorce papers. "Yeah," I said cautiously. "What is it?" "Diane's passed away." I didn't respond at first. I just stopped. She was driving. Oregon coast. Wet roads. Went off a cliff. Police say she swerved to avoid a deer. The car went straight down. My mouth went dry. I whispered, "Jesus." "She didn't suffer," Maria said gently. That's what they told her aunt. I sat on the edge of the workbench in my shop with shavings stuck to my jeans. The afternoon sun cast long shadows across the floor. Diane was gone. Not just gone, but gone. Later that night, I sat outside with Claire. Told her everything. From the call, to the car, to the cliff, to the silence. "I don't even know what I feel," I admitted. "You don't have to," she said, curling her fingers around mine. "Some grief isn't about missing someone. It's about mourning what they took from you, who they never got to be." And that's exactly what it was. I didn't cry. I didn't rage. I didn't feel joy. It was just empty. Like hearing about a stranger who used to haunt your dreams. 2 weeks later, I got a package in the mail. No return address. Just my name. Inside? A small wooden box. A journal. And a flash drive. The journal was Diane's. Claire watched me as I read through it slowly for several days. Pages filled with apologies. Regrets. Honest confusion. Confessions of pain I hadn't even imagined. How her guilt consumed her. How she knew she'd never be whole again. The flash drive contained a video. She'd recorded it weeks before her death. Her face on the screen looked aged. Tired. No makeup. Just raw. Real. Like a person who'd finally stripped off every mask. "Jake," she said, "I don't know if you'll ever see this. I'm not recording it to change your mind. I know I ruined the best thing I ever had. I wanted you to know I finally saw it. What you gave me. What I threw away. I'm sorry. I hope more than anything that you're happy now. And I hope maybe you'll forgive me. Not for me. For you. So you don't carry this forever." I stared at the screen long after it went black. Claire didn't say a word. Just held my hand. That night, we buried the box in the woods behind my workshop. No ceremony. Just closure. Quiet. And final. Months passed. I kept working. Kept building. Claire and I moved in together. We adopted a mutt with 3 legs and a habit of chasing moths as they owed him money. And life? It was calm. Clean. Real. People ask me if I ever think about Diane. I do. Not every day. Not with bitterness. Not even with grief. Just with understanding. She was a lesson. A storm that broke the foundation and forced me to rebuild everything stronger. And now, with calloused hands and a full heart, I finally know the truth. Sometimes the greatest revenge isn't burning their world down. It's surviving. And thriving. And never once looking back. What would you have done if your spouse shattered your world? Can you forgive those who are gone, or will you be haunted by their memory indefinitely? Hope you enjoyed this story as much as I do. Help this small channel grow by hitting that like button, subscribing, and sharing with your friends. Every bit of support means the world. Thanks for watching and see you in the next one.